I think people obsess too much about power and
Mm.
not enough about just getting your hands on somebody.
Mhm.
I don't.
Yeah.
People love. I mean, it's very easy to train by yourself and believe that you have these qualities that are going to do a great job in a real self-defense situation. So you hit the heavy bag, you throw crazy shadow punches, whatever you do, you think, man, I can really punch hard. But that has nothing to do with controlling distance or your timing or your psychology under stress.
Welcome to Martial Mindset, where we delve into some of the leading minds in business, martial arts, and academia to find out what truly makes success in any field of life. We are the fight coaches who will motivate and inspire you to level up your game, no matter how big or scary your goals may be.
And you should be prepared for those too. That's all.
Well, I mean, I'm going to jump in on this because this is an area I'm quite passionate about. Because my philosophy, my thinking, personal philosophy thinking is, it's better to know more. It's better to know more and not use it, because sometimes it might be the case that the situations and the variables may change. I mean, for example, classic one, vertical fist in Wing Chun. It's all very well, but if you wanted to punch someone into the pubic bone at distance, a vertical fist is too short a weapon. It wouldn't actually be able to arrive. And that's exactly, you're alluding to the point I often say. So you may get some more traditionalists who say, no, but I won't punch there, or I won't do this, or they'll avoid the problem. But sometimes the situation denotes that you have to punch like that, maybe because the other person's moving, that's the opportunity they're giving you. So, I am a great believer that there's no harm once you've got a base of knowledge, which is what you said, of actually learning more, because I don't necessarily have to use it. If I know how to kick in a certain way, I know how to punch in a certain way, I know how to do an armbar, for example, which I do, I don't necessarily have to go into a fight and do an armbar if it doesn't require it. But then having said that, let's say I'm at my uncle's barbecue, and my other great uncle's drunk, and it may not denote me going in, and I need to restrain him. I'm not going to go in and punch the guy in the face or chop him in the throat. I might have to restrain him. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's good to know it, but not need to use it, and that's the point. It's always about being open-minded and then assimilating that information into what you know. And I don't understand why it's such a problem. I do from a point of view of teaching, because you have to teach people one way to start, right? Otherwise, if you teach someone, for example, what you're saying, 6 different ways, 6 different angles of holding a fist, then that gets confusing. But once you've actually got a base understanding of it, then you need to move on. And I do get lost with that sometimes, really. But I think that's just people's thinking, really.
Well, right. Yeah, it's human nature. Don't beat yourself up about that. That's not your fault.
Yeah, I know. I'm fighting human nature.
That's right. And like you say, I mean, it's just time. It's time in. You can't expect anyone to know that in the beginning. That's probably the chief frustration of any teacher. You forget how much you've learned. Once you learn something, I think you kind of take it for granted. Like, well, yeah, of course you're in a good stance. Well, yeah, of course you're balanced. But you forget that, but when you started, you didn't have that. And so that's why I've always recommended to anybody, keep a notebook. I've always kept notebooks. And when I go back, I have to do this from time to time, to go back to like, okay, here you were as a green belt in Taekwondo. And look at the things you were writing down that you thought was so profound and significant back then. Yeah. And today I'm like, what? That's embarrassing if anybody saw that. However, that is actually where most of my video ideas come from, because I'm like, well, most people are beginners still, or they're just new. That's why they're looking on YouTube. Well, how to punch? Who puts that into? I don't put that into a search computer. I mean, that's not what I'm looking for. The stuff that I want to talk about, nobody's got really videos about that stuff, or they have 2 subscribers, because that's such a small pool of people who are into if you've been doing martial arts for 30, 40 years, this might be interesting to you. But for most people in the world, they're, hey, I don't even have a school yet. I don't have a teacher yet. I just want to know, how do I fight? So those are the issues that I had in my early notebooks. And those are the best tips to give people.
And if we're talking about questions, let's dive into a few questions that we got the other day. We posted on a few groups that we're going to be having this interview. And a few people posted questions that they wanted to answer. And I'd really like to get your input on these topics. How's that?
All right, let's go.
Awesome. So Yin Teng is asking, He's super excited about the podcast. Really looking forward to it. He wants to know, with the Wing Chun structure, how do you deliver strikes with power? And I think it would be interesting not to talk just about Wing Chun, but how do you actually, what is your view on delivering punches with more power?
Is it going to Ando or is it going to me?
Both.
Shall I go first? Or
sure.
Well, I'll save time if we talk at the same time. That would be great.
Yeah, that'll be confusing. That'll be assimilating everything, wouldn't it?
That's right.
I mean, look, there's funny enough, I voiced over and mic'd over another video on this. There's different ways to deliver strikes. There's momentum, there's structure. And in Wing Chun, we often talk about structure of the punch, but you still need momentum to be able to deliver the strike. So it's a combination of really having good structure and momentum. But that's going to vary depending on the way that you're punching. So if you're punching with a vertical fist, for example, you might be driving that punch from the waist and the shoulder. And again, another variable, because it's all variables at the end of the day that's going to have an effect, is the distance of what you're striking, the person that you're striking, if you like, or even a heavy bag or whatever the object is. Hopefully it's not an innocent person walking down the road, but yeah, that would be really bad. Don't do that at home, kids. Generally, when you're striking, distance is the key variable, whether you're too close or whether you're at long range. If you're long range, you're looking at to be quick and short. If you're long range, you're looking at momentum. And if you're close range, for me, when I'm instructing, it's usually contraction. So contraction, close range, and the drivers are very different. Momentum will be much more from the waist and the shoulders, and close quarters will be much more from muscular contraction, combining that with good structure as well. But that's specific to using Wing Chun. So, I mean, I don't know, Ando, from your experience.
Well, yeah, I would say, I'll just answer from any style's point of view. I think people obsess too much about power and not enough about just getting your hands on somebody. People love, I mean, it's very easy to train by yourself and believe that you have these qualities that are going to do a great job in a real self-defense situation. So you hit the heavy bag, you throw crazy shadow punches, whatever you do, you think, man, I can really punch hard. But that has nothing to do with controlling distance or your timing or your psychology under stress.